Hello. Give me a second. Oh, I switched from the scythe to fists. Because fists have the highest DPS in the game. It's the fastest weapons. And there's some stuff that people don't... people don't realize how powerful they are, though they look like they have low numbers, but since they're the fastest and the fastest weapons in the game, they are the most powerful.
Hello?
Oh, some things about New Game Plus people don't know about. I know a lot of people don't pay attention to New Game Plus and don't think much about it. I'm giving it a little bit here, some time. By the way, the build I made here, it's different because, funnily enough, this build is light. It's a light equipment load. But damn, is it fast. It's a speedy little thing. Whoops! I did not take him I didn't take him seriously now, did I? I messed up. It's fine. I'm just trying to have fun right now. New Game Plus information people wouldn't know is every enemy gets buffed by 100 levels. That's why you have 700 levels you can go to max out. New Game Plus goes up to New Game Plus 7. And if it buffs every enemy by 100 levels, all you have to do is level up 1 to 100 every New Game Plus to be able to easily manage it. Ain't that cool? Yes, also every enemy gets one extra move added to their move list. That's right, you're not facing the enemies at the max difficulty when you begin this game. They're actually at their weakest point until you get to New Game Plus 7, where all enemies can access their full move set. So you're fighting an enemy that's actually weaker than it should be. They do that on purpose, though, so players can actually beat the game without needing to, suffer. All From Software games are like that. Why? That's why I look OP, right? In this game. It's because I'm higher level than I need to be to beat it. I am level 187, and to beat the game the first time through, people don't have to reach level 100. But if you want to beat New Game Plus, you have to at least reach level 130 to beat New Game Plus easily. If you play with fire, you're gonna get burned. Also, some enemies that you never think would appear on the world map. When you hit certain New Game Pluses, it will add more enemies to the world and certain new locations that you didn't think they should be there or not. On top of all the enemies getting a level buff. Interesting to say the least. Like, how many of you remember this guy being up here? I don't. But that could be me being dumb. Oh, but it looks like they're gonna have greaves in the game that allow you to kick and jump kick and all that stuff. You will be able to combine those greaves with the fists to make a full martial arts set of punches and kicks, depending on which. So that's gonna be cool. Doing a whole punching kick combo with fists and greaves. You can't enjoy that. I mean, come on, think about it. You're just jumping and kicking and going full on martial arts combat. I mean, that is just awesome. Also, some items can never be retrieved a second time. But that's fine.
You're tarnished.
The only reason you can't retrieve it a second time is because you have it.
To the Church of Vows. I am Muriel, steward of this sacred chamber. My apologies for the unseemly state of affairs. Do you know the origin of this place? How it came to be known as the Church of Vows? Well, that is a shame.
Why would I know? It's my New Game Plus. They should have let me say yeah.
Shattering has caused us, all of us, to lose sight of something very dear. It is here, at the Church of Vows, that the great houses of the Earth Tree and the Moon were joined by the matrimonial bond between red-haired Rabican and Renala of the Fool.
Oh, I heard some information that you might get another talisman thing with the Shadow of the Earth Tree. That you might get one more extra talisman slot. Well, you think it looks like there should be 5.
Oh, was there something you needed? You are free to show yourself around. I would serve as your guide, only my legs aren't what they used to be. If you find anything of use, you are free to take it with you, unless perhaps you are in search of instruction, in which case I will share all that I know. Do you possess any celestial dew?
Tons of it.
Then I would like to share my knowledge with you concerning the miracle of this Church of Vows. Radagon once cleansed himself with celestial dew, repented his territorial aggressions, and swore his love to Number. The order of the Erdtree and the fate of the moon were conjoined, and all the wounds of war forgiven. This miracle blesses the Church to this day, and so you need only follow Radagon's example to restore any bond, however strained or severed, to its rightful state of harmony. Oh, what have we here?
Also, giving him all the books and then killing him will drop the bell that'll let you keep all the prayers.
It is but a contrivance.
Weirdly enough. But also you could do it with the other guy too. So. And you wouldn't have to kill the poor doggy.
Oh, what have we here? Very well, let us both learn together. Heresy is not native to the world. It is but a contrivance. All things...
It's only heresy because they say it is, in other words. That's what the turtle says. The turtle literally saying it's only considered heresy because they say so. Doesn't make it true, though. Why I buy them again, though it doesn't matter? I feel like it. People still liking my messages. I wonder which one has the most, since they don't let me look at them. That way, that's how you know. On New Game Plus 2, you should be over level 200 to beat it. In New Game Plus 3, 4, 5, you know, every 100 levels. But that also increases the amount of moves that the enemy's going to use on you. I have Bloodhound Dash with Flame Art. Which gave my weapon B-Faith building. It's not as high as the out of all the fist weapon, unarmed fist weapons. A is the highest faith you can get, so B-Faith is not that bad. But you can't. I have not seen an S-Faith weapon yet for fists, so I don't even think there is one yet. They might be adding that in later. If they do, then that's not bad. It'd probably be in the Shadow of the Erdtree when they add the kicking, and then you can add punches and kicks combined together. Which is cool. Okay, Turtle Pope's still here. Doggy needs to be gone for this. I want to fight the guy. Oh! I think some of the bell guys, if you kill some of these bell guys that pop up, they may not come back as well.
Greetings. Is there something else?
Also, if you collected any golden seeds and whatnot, upgrades to your health flasks, you could just sell those for ruins if you haven't maxed out, and they sell for a good amount. And you get every new game plus doubles your ruins that you get, just so you can keep leveling up a lot easier. Where's dog? Man, I wish there was a... I wish this was alphabetical. Holy crap. Oh, dog's an enemy. I forgot that. Ugh, I wish they had this a lot easier. Oh, did you know the messages put with emotes get more positive reviews than any? Get praised more if you have an emote attached to it. Granted, the emote has to make sense. Looks like bell hunters don't come back after you kill them either. Fist weapons have the weakest block in the game though. But if you have high enough stamina, you'll be able to block anyways. At least once. Also, some endings apparently are not obtainable until you're in New Game Plus. Which I find that's oh goddamn stupid. But yeah, it's a thing. Some endings you cannot require until you finish the game the first time through. So it's best to at least finish the game once. You fucking... Archers, I swear. Oh, he's way up the fuck there. New Game Plus, though, it only gets hard if you're not going to level up another 100 levels. Some people may be able to pull it off, not needing to level up for a while, but eventually we all reach the point where we have to, regardless. Damn, this acupuncture is painful. Oh, I'm coming for you. Because of the amount of DPS, and if you put the right Ash of Wars on him, you can actually cause a massive stagger buildup that just keeps up high. Period. I find though my weapon choices I made with the fist and the big spell the big spells like fireball and stuff that you've seen me using with my left hand is actually a really potent combo. I don't have to be accurate with my magic either. I just have to hit near the enemy. See, just gotta get this shots near. Close enough anyways. Many people don't know this, but this guy is actually important. And also, his eyes follow you. That's just fucking creepy how that thing's eyes will follow you. Oh god. No one finds that creepy at all? That guy's eyes follow you? Also, by New Game Plus 5, all non-boss enemies are pretty much at their peak strength. So mobs are pretty much as strong as they're gonna get. But that's at New Game Plus 5. By then you're level 500. Also, I found out something interesting about incantations and sorceries. Some of them don't scale with your weapon, and they actually scale with your level. These balls I'm throwing, these ones, they scale with your actual character. Which is so cool. That's why they're so hard to aim. These things scale with you. Which, probably that's why they're so hard to wield. But man, if you are able to wield these incantations and spells where you don't have tracking, I bet you they do a freaking number. And you'll be incredibly powerful if they do hit. Has anyone noticed that this one doesn't have a bell? For some reason? No one finds that weird? Like, at all? Also, fun fact, Bloodhound Step is a momentum Momentum actually increases how much damage you output when you swing. That's why I even have it on this build right here. Because mid Bloodhound Step, if I swing mid as I'm coming out of it, I get an extra damage boost. Ain't that cool? Only works on fists and daggers. For some reason. I think it might be bugged. Bloodhound Step is the perfect dagger Ashavor or fist Ashavor. Dude, if they're gonna give us greaves, oh, you gotta Bloodhound Step a greave. Literally, it's literally a combat boot that has a blade attached to the side of the onto it. So when you kick, you end up cutting people with it. Hence the whole point of the greave being a combat item. Games or of other From Software games will be adding it into the list. So I find that cool too. But I plan on getting the new DLC. Right now you could pre-order the Shadow of the Erdtree for $39.99. But I'm gonna wait until it comes out, and it'll probably drop by $10 to $29.99. I'm not gonna spend extra money on the DLC when I know I could just wait it out. I don't know why people don't like fists. They're actually very powerful in this game. I get it, probably because there's not many options to use, right? You're not thinking there's not many fist options to pick from. You don't get a lot of fist options because how fast they DPS. You get one of every type. You get a Faith Fist, a Bleed Fist, two Bleed Fists, two Faith Fists, a Blunt one, a Heavy one, a Standard one, and a Quick one. And you're supposed to build it, use each one accordingly to your builds, your own personal build. They're actually very limited, yes, but there's like one of each type. So depending on how you want to play, there's a fist for that. It just depends on the player. Yeah, I know the ball ones have a different move set to these ones I'm wielding here. When it comes to this. To your heavy attacks, it changes. But the fists also have the fastest heavy attacks in the game. It means you'll get them off a lot easier than you will any other weapon type, which is cool. And apparently, some of the NPCs in the game will carry over to Shadow of the Erdtree, and I believe Bach will be following you there, if he's still alive. So if you want a familiar face that wants to alter your garments, you'll have Bach, I believe, traveling with you to that location. He follows you anywhere and everywhere. For some reason. That dumpy's so thick, I got hit with the aftermath. Oh, I'm stuck. I could take down the Great Bear. I've been fighting these things for shits and giggles because they give you a shit ton of ruins. If you're starting out in a new game and you want an easy 6,000 ruins, these fuckers. If you can kill ruin bears, hunt them. They give you about 3,000 ruins the first time you play the game and about 6,000 if it's your new game plus. They give you a metric ton of ruins. Granted, if you don't want to fight at all, there's spots for that. Go accordingly to what you think you need to do to get to those spots. Caelid is probably the earliest ruin farm in the game where you do not have to fear anything other than your own skill. Some enemies will be permanently gone in New Game Plus, and some enemies will be added in with New Game Plus that didn't exist in that certain spots before. I think it's a way to make it feel like to throw off the player thinking, oh, I know this game like the back of my hand, and all of a sudden there was an enemy that wasn't there before because it was added in because this is your New Game Plus. Which I think that was clever on From Software's part, saying, oh, you think you're so smart, huh? Memorize the game? Then why'd you die to that fucker we added right over there? You didn't see that coming now, did you? Which, understandable, actually. It's just another way of making sure the player doesn't easily do whatever they want, you know. They're thrown for a loop, in other words. Which I don't mind. I enjoy that sort of thing in games. It's like, oh, you want to do a New Game Plus with all the stuff you have? That's fine. Just don't be shocked when you find shit that you didn't think was there before. Because we added it in after you beat the game. Just to throw you off. And they will mix the enemies around and put things in different in different positionings. In other words, like, the game devs are actively trying to kill you. Which what makes From Software games feel hard, because see some enemies are added in. What I find funny is people don't realize all From Software games have a rule. Follow the road if you're lost. No matter what you do, if you follow the road, you will always find your way around. No matter what. Because they always make everything on the near the roads. Always. From Software has always been like that for some reason. It seems to be like their programming motto. tricky little fucker. Also, the windows of opportunity to attack get smaller and smaller as New Game Plus goes on, up and up. Apparently, if it's the first time playing the game, windows of opportunity to attack enemies are triple the time than they usually would be. At New Game Plus, they're at its actual what it's supposed to be at. New Game Plus 7 is when the window of opportunity is less than a second. You have less than 1 second to get into that window of opportunity when it comes to fights. That is insane. That's New Game Plus 7 though. By then you're level 700. And then it's not a really big deal now, is it? You're almost maxed the level. You're like 13 levels away from being maxed out. But then the game's not going to get any harder, and it's just going to get easier once you max out your stats. Did you know things like poison get stronger in New Game Pluses? For some reason. I wonder if it's because the stats that go up to make them more resistant makes poison so useless. They have to buff it. It has to go up every New Game Plus, or else no one would use poison. Because it wouldn't work. Poison wouldn't work at all if it didn't go up. It doesn't go up by that much either. But it still goes up with New Game Plus. Or else you wouldn't be able to poison enemies and do jack shit because their health bar would be too high. But Scarlet Rot actually gets weaker the more higher in New Game Plus as you go. To the point that it becomes just as potent as poison. That's New Game Plus 7 though. That'll be a while before that's actually a really big weird thing where it's like, oh, Rot ain't as potent as I thought it used to be. And that's because you're a New Game Plus God knows how high. And because of that, Rot only got weaker because your stats went up. But Poison stayed the same. Or Poison got stronger because of it. They have a weird scaling system in this game. I'm just wondering what else they added in. That's added in New Game Plus. Not only do you get more ruins than you would before, because they want you to be able to level up, since every New Game Plus is 100 levels higher than the previous game. Hence why 7 is the max, because that's the max level. I wonder how many people put 2 and 2 together and figure that out as well.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
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 Please. Over here.
Hi, sweetie. What do you want?
Hello.
Want me to get the milk?
It's rather chilly here, isn't it?
Oh, she's cold-blooded, so yeah, it'd be cold.
Errand, but I was accosted by a ruffian, and now I'm in a bind. Could I ask you lend a hand? Perhaps that thug made off with a precious necklace. I need someone to retrieve it.
Anyone notice that necklace is the same necklace you wear to look like a to look like you're not an invader or a cooperator? It actually disguises you.
Oh, thank you, dear.
In other words, her necklace is what keeps her in that human form.
The thug should be resting
Just like how you have the necklace, talisman necklace things that make you look like the host. It's just the same necklace, that's all it is. Also, I get kind of used to the combat you get used to the combat from the enemies, and you have no problem whatsoever fighting them the more you fight them. Your brain will get muscle memory, of course. I don't know if anyone can test this out or not, but if you press the R1 right as you pull out of the enemy, it seems like you do a slightly bit more damage. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but the window of opportunity may be really small or something, and no one's really noticed it. But it feels like I do more damage.
Oh, well. It's been a long while.
Hi, Patches.
It's me. Patches the Untethered. I'm still in business.
Oh, by the way, Patches will be there too if you didn't kill him.
Now I'm my only supplier, so I haven't got much. But everything here is top notch. Patches Emporium. Now open in Raya Lucaria.
Speaking of...
Have you met that girl, Raya? She's a strange one, but I believe she was in need of help. Not that it's any of my business, but if she rings your bell, why not lend her an ear?
Oh, she definitely rings more than just my bell. Also, some shops will get stuff to sell they didn't have to sell before.
You're making your way to the herb tree, no? Well, I heard something that might help. A special means of reaching your destination. Have you ever seen an Iron Virgin? The clunky contraptions are whirlwinds of sickles and spiked wheels. But long ago, they were endowed with a spell of transposition. And get this, a surviving virgin sits at the bottom of the big water wheel in the Academy of Raya Lucaria. Its transpositional powers fully intact. So right, if you get caught in it on purpose, it'll chuck you out straight at the base of the Erd tree. So I'm told.
Patches, you are so damn bored. You cause nothing but little mischief, don't you? What I find funny is, if they're adding greaves, fists and greaves will be the only weapons where getting one of them acts as two. Fuck off, bug. Like this. You know you can't do this with any other weapon, but put on something like this, it was only with fists and maybe greaves in the future if they add greaves in, because it shows the player doing jump kicks and shit, which means those are greaves, which is a type of martial arts weapon for your feet. Now I can get the necklace from him without him moving to the next location. That is a very possible thing.
What are you looking at? You trying to start something, mate? Ah, that necklace what you're after, is it? Well, show me what it's worth to you, and I'll consider parting ways with it. I'm not in love with it or nothing. You're a shrewd one, Chief. First, you hand me the runes. And don't try nothing, neither.
I wonder if the player is a fragment of Mikola. Like the grace you received was actually from him, Mikola, instead of the Earth Tree. You sure you want to do this? Oh, so she might be in the Shadow of the Earth Tree too, because she's a. Remember when she leaves to go find herself? Guess where she ends up?
Oh yes.
But in her serpent form.
Thank you kindly. I am in your debt. Did I forget to announce myself? I am Ryan.
Because you were her champion, remember? Maybe that's why I see a serpent. Serpent ending in the game code says there's a serpent ending, but I couldn't.
The Altus Plateau, the realm of the Erd Tree. Most tarnished are doomed to wander the outskirts of the lands between, peering wistfully at the towering Erd Tree. But you are no ordinary tarnished. And once that is proven, the Volcano Manor will fully extend its invitation.
Okay.
Amongst a family.
I think I like her because her personality is just so happy in a world that's so goddamn bleak. I like upbeat kind of people. I like it when they look at the brighter side of things. Because I'm already pretty bleak as it is sometimes. I try to look at the brighter side of things, yes, but sometimes it's kind of hard. I love how me and Patches have something in common when I play this game, as we both like the same two women from the same two house. Patches prefers the mom and I prefer the daughter. It's like, bro, what the hell's wrong with us? We broken. We broken, bro. We broken as fuck. You're not broken, you're optimistic. A little too optimistic. If we're that desperate. Yeah, what causes the... I think the shrimp thing jumps up because he's either... Yeah, you walk over his feeler things there that are sticking out of the ground. Oh, there's another one. As long as you don't touch those little feelers, they believe they leave you alone. Yeah. Oops, I touched this guy. Uh-oh, he touched those feelers. I don't like that. Ouch. Not as bad as they used to be. Oh boy, that was a little more trickier than I would like. Oh, From Software, what the hell? Are you pulling Bethesda right here? I get it, they hit the wall, which caused it to fly all over the place, but the downside is it forgot to drop. If I remember right, they should be around here somewhere. Standing over a dead body, which is his friend he was looking for. Yeah, hello, Ben. Sorry I didn't see you there. I was so focused on combat with the giant lobsters I didn't notice. Yeah, it's a cat cam. She's sleeping on my lap right now because my hands are in a perfect circle. You know, if you have cats, they sleep in anything that looks like a circle for some reason. And if you're holding a controller, you made a circle with your arms. And cats think, hey, that's a place to sleep. For some reason. I guess it's from the years of being around humans. And being our pets. They see a circle and think bed. So that might just be a product of being a pet for so long. But yeah, there's a cat tree there. Hey, people love cats. Just having a cat cam will get people just to come in just to see the animal. And you can get views just from the animal being in your streams. Which isn't a bad thing, actually. That could be very beneficial because people might like you because you have pets. Weirdly enough. Hence how guys have dogs and go get girlfriends and wives by taking their dogs for a walk. Animals will attract other people who like animals. That normally wouldn't like you, but since they see a pet, they figure you must not be too bad. Waiting for all the characters to load in real quick so I can go about it. Man, this is taking them forever.
Ah, you appear to be doing well. Very good. Well then, would you like to learn an incantation?
I do like how my character looks, though. Physically, my character looks great. He looks like he's been through some shit. Do I stream much? Well, I've streamed over 3,000 streams or more than that. My YouTube channel's been going strong for pretty long time. I try to stream at least once a day, but sometimes I don't. It all depends on my mood. Because there's times when you just don't feel like playing games at all. Which happens to the best of us. I mean, I've been gaming for 36 years now. No, wait, am I 37 this year? Yeah, sometimes you just look at a game and you're like, You know what I mean? You're just looking at it like, do I really want to? I don't feel like it. No, I've been gaming since I was 1 year old, and I'm 37, so I've been gaming for over 36 years. Back in the day when Atari and Coleco and all that old stuff was around. Makes me feel old, though. Really old. Well, when I was born and I died at 3 weeks old and was brought back because I was stubborn and refused to actually die, and then the doctors saved me by using a procedure that was brand new and I was the first guinea pig for it, that they now use to save billions of lives. is the most common surgery now to use for people with heart problems. I was the first they ever used it on, the guinea pig. And I was told by my mom was told by the doctor that I should play video games because my hand-eye coordination and reflexes will be lacking as I was getting old, as I was, when I was young because of my heart problems. So my mom got me a video game. We played Pong and stuff like that. Like the old games where you were the little square blocks trying to get through a maze before the dragon would kill you. Like those old games. I've been playing those games and then just getting new consoles as time went on as more of a medical reason for my hand-eye coordination. Needed it. God knows how bad my hand-eye coordination would be right now. I was born with the bad heart, but I'm the only one in the world born with the bad heart to the degree that it was at. Let's put it this way. The degree my heart was fucked up, no one in the world but me has it as bad as having all 7 at once. I'm in the medical journals, which is hilariously cool, but also makes it feel like I achieved what everyone tries to achieve, is to be remembered well after you're long and gone as doing something in the world. But me, I was only 3 weeks old. How would I know if I did anything right or not? Then they had to do it in a slightly different way. Oh, I've been fine for decades now. I kind of stabilized around 20, and around 22 my doctors all retired, and that was that. I've been around since then. With no changes to my health other than I'm different than anyone. What they found weird though is they didn't expect me to live beyond the age of 1. And they actually had a bet when I would die.
Aha. Your intuition serves you well.
They were making bets on when I would die, but eventually stopped making those bets once I hit over 20 years old. Because they're more shocked that I'm even alive, let alone how long I've lived.
Senile delusions. I believe that when the Elden Ring was
I found it funny that they had a betting pool when I was going to die.
Their guidance skewed. Even worse.
I was like, hey, let me get into that. I could tell you I'm not going to die till I'm 60.
That's the part that irks them most. Oh, I have a gift for you. Something fit only for the wise. A means for circumventing the draw of the 2 fingers. Give it a try, won't you? And if it please you, may we meet again. I've high hopes for you, my lambkin. Be sure to try. There's no reason to tarnish. Your loyalties are misplaced with them.
An Elden Ring? At least 100. I know I beat the game without dying at least 100 times. Okay. Also, a fun fact about this right here, about doing this thing, you do not have to invade 3 places. You don't have to. There's 3 special locations you can go to in this game that lets you fight 3 NPCs that count towards this. That will count towards it. The problem is they don't mark them on the map. You have to go out of your way to find them. And I believe they are up here. What you need to do is like look for them because they're up here. They'll be written down on the ground as those signs. So you don't have to invade if you don't want to. You can though if you do. Which is fine and all. But you could just find the NPCs, the 3 NPCs that count towards those invasions. It's a way for when the game, if it ever loses server, and you have to play solo by yourself without being online, they have that covered. They do that for all their games. They always have a backup to everything. Okay, he's got to be around this town somewhere. I remember he's around here somewhere nearby. All your strength in this game comes from your armaments. Your stats don't do too much. They do improve it, but it's not the big thing that improves your attack and whatnot. It's your armaments and your how you use them. Depending on the actual wars you pick, depending on if you get them to plus 25 or higher, or plus 10, depending if they're somber types, would determine how hard you actually hit versus anything else. People may not believe me, but there's no wrong way to play this game. Every item they made for this game is meant to be used and played with it all the way to the very end, though it may not seem like it for some items. But some items are come with a pair. Oh, hi Ben. Good. Nice to see you're back. I'm just looking for the particular guy. Yeah, some people don't finish a lot of games because they're kind of hard, and I get it. That, or you may not have the time or the patience for certain parts of it. I beat the game just recently. I even beat Melania within 2 hours, 3 hours time for my first try ever playing against her. I hate that character for some reason. Her regen is the only reason she seems difficult. If she didn't regenerate health upon hitting you, oh god, she'd be easy as hell. She'd be very beatable. With very little stress. Probably why they gave her regen, because she'd be a lot easier to kill than people realize. Her regen is literally the key of why it takes so long. Unless you cheese her by using, well, cheesy tactics. But that's up to you. I mean, play the game how you want. I mean, I'm using fist items here. I'm like swinging my fists around, which are actually very powerful, since all your damage actually comes from your weaponry. And somewhat of the scaling does matter quite a bit. Not the end all be all, but it is a multiplier for it. But your stats and your levels don't affect it as much as people think it does. Your stats make it slightly stronger, yes, but it's not the #1 way of making yourself hit harder. To hit harder with your weapon is to go to the blacksmith and make it stronger that way. You hit way harder no matter what if you just make the weapon stronger itself. For it also upgrades your skin. It upgrades everything when you go to the blacksmith with it. I don't know where he is. He's supposed to be around here somewhere. Standing on a pile of rubble. He's supposed to be over there somewhere, but I can't find him. Supposed to be in the town around here somewhere. There's no enemies near him either, so... Also, there's a rule of thumb when you're playing this game. If you're lost, find a road. The roads lead where you need to go everywhere. Of course, that's the whole point of roads, right? But everything's near a road. And I mean everything. They purposely made the roads that way so you can find everything in the game. Here he is.
Hello, friend. Tell me if you know, would you? The whereabouts of the hidden house of those despicable fiends. The recusants who hunt their fellow tarnished. They laid hands upon my servant Lanya, and I refused to let the insult stand. The tale of House Hoslo is told in blood. I, Dialos, swear to do...
Well, until you finish the game, though, the first time, there's some endings you can't achieve.
They laid hands upon my servant. The tale of House Hoslo is... I, Dialos.
Okay, now that I talked to him... By the way, you notice that there's a road that's right here that leads right by him. There's a road here that leads right by him. All roads lead to all items in the game. All locations, too. See? Road leads there. Road leads over here where there's a Ash of War. Road leads down here, cuts off, makes you go left. All roads lead to all locations. So just follow the roads in the game and you'll find everything. That's the whole point of the roads. Hell, believe it or not, there's a road right here. Thanks for the sub. There's a road right here, right? But it cuts off right here and goes to the right because there's a village down here. All roads lead to where you need to go. I get why they added that feature. They added the road feature into this From Software game because it's open world, and they didn't want you to get lost. So they put everything on road access, except for I believe there's 2 parts in the game that do not have road access that everyone found anyways, because it seemed kind of odd that for some reason a road didn't lead there and it cuts off. So out of curiosity, people probably went to go look, and then they found those 2 items. It's kind of out of place, and it makes you think, like, why? Why is it not like this here? My cat, seriously, please get up, kitty. My legs are going numb. There's no such thing as a bad weapon in this game, by the way. If you know how to build around the weapon, you can get a lot of shit done with it. From Software made sure every weapon in the game, including shields, were viable for winning the game. Just keep upgrading the weapon you like, and eventually you'll win. Plus 25 is the max, yes. Oh yeah, if you kill last one of these guys, you can get a lot of stuff from them. Bloodhound Dash seems to have a better effect on fist weapons and daggers, because for some reason momentum is added into attack damage, and I don't know if it's a bug or not, but when you Bloodhound Dash, it adds momentum to your attacks. And only daggers and fists benefit from it for now. I don't know if that's a bug or not in the program. Because when I exit Bloodhound Dash and I hit, I'm hitting for extra damage. Oh, in the hit! Oh God, I'm curve stopping him. Oh dear! I just punched him in the face and repeatedly. Yeah, technically in this game, level up whenever you have the ruins, of course, because you need at least 30 minimum vitality. You need 30 vigor. You need at least minimum 30 vigor, or you won't be able to. You will be able to beat the game, but it's going to be hard. See how low my stats are? My strength is 18, but I'm ripping their health bars out because this Spike Gauntlet is plus 24. Your strength comes from your smithing it to make it stronger with the smithing stones. So if you find a weapon you really like, dedicate to it the first time through, because until you get the bell bearings to level up other weapons a little more thoroughly, you're going to rely on that weapon to get you through a lot. And I mean, I'm not talking about a little bit, I'm talking a lot. An overwhelming amount of the game you will play with that one weapon. Because until you reach certain parts of the game to get the bell bearing to buy more smithing stones, you will not have strong weapons, and it will be a lot harder to fight than you think. But if you dedicate to a single weapon you enjoy a lot... Ah, a mariner. You will have no problem. Also, use summons. Don't listen to people. Use summons if you want to. There's nothing wrong with it. They're added into the game to help you. And also level them up to 10 if possible. I mean, I got 18th strength, and I just ripped this mariner apart. With one hand. Granted, my faith is 30. I have 30 faith. Yes, that is true. So my incantations hit like a truck, because the incantations I'm using are not. They scale with the player, not with the item, not with your armament. These spells that you throw like this, that can be thrown without, then they do not follow the enemy, scale with the player. Which is cool, but also, goddamn, that is a hassle. That means if you get good at throwing those things free-handed, you're gonna just rip players apart and enemies apart, because they're based off your player, not the weapon. Not much by the weapon. Yeah, the weapon I think helps a little, but it's not the end-all be-all method. Also, kill any of these little roundy ball bugs. You'll need the stuff they wield. You pretty much kill anything and everything in the game that you can, unless there's a particular type of NPC and you need them for the game to get a certain ending. Then I wouldn't recommend killing them. But some go to complete suicide route, where they kill everything. That's up to you, though. Some endings cannot be achieved unless you help a certain NPCs out all the way to the end. And do certain side quest stuff.
Hello, Cuz. What are you doing here? I didn't think anyone knew about this place. Except us jars.
There's a road that leads to this place, but then you see a giant gap, then you see a building, and it makes you want to find it.
Gosh, truly. That's wonderful news. It's not easy being potentate, though. I know. Show me your hands. It's just a little test, Cuz. To see if you've got the right stuff.
The reason they ask you to show your hands is for if you have soft hands means you would be a gentle ruler or something for them. But if your hands are rough, you wouldn't be so gentle as a ruler.
To be potentate, you know. I'm sorry, Cuz.
That's their whole
Don't
logic.
think you've got what it takes. What a shame.
Also, this place is where you get most of your crafting materials from the flowers. Trust me, you'll want this place. All the flowers and shit you'll need. I'd actually used the crafting quite a bit in the system before. Just for mostly healing purposes. Because there's some stuff that can heal you and protect you in the game that you can craft. That makes you stronger, that are like buffs. Because guess what? You see this road right here? Have you not noticed that it kind of cuts off and you don't see anything right here anymore? You can see a house right here. And as a player, you'll look at that, see that and go like, how do I get over here? And you'll look all over this place for it. All roads lead to all locations, so whenever you're lost, look for a road. Unless you're in the Halic tree, that thing's roads are one-way ticket. It's only one way you can go. I mean, there's different ways you can go about it, but there's only one final destination. No pun intended. But I can't wait to shadow the Erd tree. I'm trying to make it back to Moog so I can just outright end him quickly. If you notice my bars, my health bar, my blue, green, and red bar, how they are, is because they're this way because that's how I wanted them. I want my vigor to be the highest stat, which is 60. Then I want my FP to be my second highest stat, and my third highest stat being my stamina. So each bar be one rung below each other to look nice like this. But I want 60 vigor, 50 FP, which would be mind, and I think that's mind, isn't it? Because they're just those are only what you need to require to wield something. Yes, it does make it slightly more potent if it is a little higher, but it's not the best way of handling that, actually. The best way to handle that is to outright just make the weapon itself stronger. And if you're capable of doing that, you'll see improvement to your to everything quickly. Everything improves fast for some reason. With the stronger your weapon, the stronger that becomes. You hit harder depending on your weapon's improvement. You can have 5 strength and hit like a goddamn truck with a weapon because the actual war you gave it scaling towards something that you have a high stat in anyways, and you have the requirement to wield it without a negative applied to it. You'll do just fine. If I wanted to, and I beat the boss in that Ralia up there and respec my character to have the bare minimum stats to wield everything, you will see my character still hit really hard because the weapons are plus 24s and 25s, or plus 10 if they're somber type. They hit hard because they are designed, they are strong just from this, from me just buffing the stats straight up on the weapon itself. Those are way more important to buff those stats on the weapon and not your character. You only want those stats on your character just to wield the weapon, because your stats only boost it up by like 3, 4, or 5 to your stats per level you put into it. It's not as good as you think it is. It's okay, but not the end all be all to making you OP. You come OP because the weapon itself was smithed to become stronger. And that's why you need to find all your smithing bells, so you get all the smithing, all your bells, so you can get all the smithing stones you need to level up. And all those smithing stones are in caves, except for very few rare, like 3 or 4 bells are outside of the caves. But the basics are all in caves. I think that is true though, that they're all mostly in caves. I believe like 8. The maxed out, I believe, are outside of caves. Far Missoula has the plus 8 smithing stone, and that one's not in a cave. But I believe the rests are all in caves that have like these ones that mine them anyways. So they put all those bells in there. And always go down the left side if you see it, because you might always get stuff like this. It seems all these caves are designed similar. They just copy pasted a lot of them. Can't blame them though, because I think there are like 20 of these fucking locations, so there's gonna be a lot of copies, a lot of similarities between them all. Which is, I don't find that bad. I find that fun. It just makes it easier for me to get around in them. Only a couple caves have I ever gotten lost in because they were actually altered slightly. See, this is where you get your stones, right? To do smithing. So the bells for those stones will be in these locations. I think you can get up to plus 7, which is not bad. That is actually very good to get to plus 7 weapons. Getting enough stones to get plus 7 smithing stones is good, because then you can get your weapon to at least almost full power, where you're strong enough to handle more than half of the game. So you'll be fine with just that to get you through. But if you get to plus 8, and then you start and you get to all your weapons to plus 24, 25, oh, you can run through this game over and over and over. I mean, the weapons I have are just these two. This is a plus 24 Flame Art Spike Gauntlet. And this is a plus 10 Somber Golden Order Seal that gives me plus A scaling with Faith and Intelligence, which is the best for my incantations. With faster spell casting, stronger incantation potency, less FP costs, and if I hit multiple times, I get a attack power boost from it. And then I got this armor stuff and whatnot, and I don't carry much on me. I beat the game like this. Well, I beat the game using my shield and wielding it in a way that people don't normally wield it. I have all this crap that I barely don't even use, which is hilarious. I could just flick fireballs and do this much damage for one reason. Ow, ow. I only could do this because those two talismans I wield are buffing it. Like, really buffing it. Not only that, in New Game Plus, I'm well over leveled. I only need to be over level 100 for New Game Plus 1, which that's what I'm in. If I was in New Game Plus 2, I would need to be over level 200 to beat it. That's how New Game Pluses work. They're all 100 levels higher than your previous playthrough. But the game compensates for that by giving you more ruins. So you wouldn't have to worry about leveling up. Because there will always be a way for you to get stronger in the game. They designed it that way on purpose. You'll always have a way to do it. They don't want to make it too damn hard. They're not that goddamn masochistic when they program the game. They just expect you to grind a little for another 100 levels if you wish to do New Game Plus 2. You have to be over level 200. Same for 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 100 levels up every time. Nothing too... It's not like they're asking for a lot, actually. They're just asking for a little grind. I hate when my character walks forward on his own because my controller's starting to show signs of wear and tear. Though this controller is about 3 years old now, and I play games and use my console so much, I run through controllers like easily. I just burn through them. And they don't make controllers like they used to where they last a long time. I wish they would make better controllers. Hell, I can design better controllers that would stop with the stick drift would stop because there's a way to do that. But you wouldn't have sticks anymore. They'd be like this bump on top, but if you push up on your thumb, it'll still move up, but without a stick. It would just be a bump. Like you know how old mouses had that round ball in them? I would design a little round ball that goes in the controller, so if you push up on it, it would move up. Forward without the stick, you're just moving a ball. And I think a ball in the controller instead of the sticks would be much better. God damn, this thing's got range. That way I don't get knocked off this platform here. I nonchalantly walk over this. People nervously walk over like it was nothing. Though, They might give you another slot right here for talismans, maybe in the DLC. I'm not quite sure. But I know there's going to be new talismans. I don't know if they're going to give you another way, let you wear a 5th talisman slot, though. I heard there might be, but also that might not be true, too. Black flame hits a little different. I knew that might happen. I had to take into account my throw. That's why when people do tier lists of weapon types, don't take them seriously, because that's their own personal opinion when all weapon types are valid. Because the game devs who created the game made sure that all weapon types were valid. Oh, you see that group of enemies down there? I love doing this part. Incoming! I love doing that. Granted, most people will be like, if you had higher strength, you hit harder. I would only hit about 50 damage more. It's not a big number as people would think it is. Surprisingly, you don't hit much harder. Yeah, you do some damage, but it's not a lot. I believe you hit, like, when you get to 900, not 900, but get to 99 strength, you're only doing 1,000 extra damage that you would normally, that you wouldn't do normally, I guess. Whoop-de-doo, huh? I could do 1,000 plus damage once I hit level 700 to enemies that will probably take that damage and eat it. Yeah, you do need to buff your stats eventually, but for a long while you don't. Because by then you probably have higher other stats and beaten the game so many different ways. Okay, there's an enemy in here I need to fight. Yep. And now I just need a black flame protection. Strength, fire, give me flame, give me strength, and put on my punchy gloves and just go to town on this bitch. See? I had it covered. What? How did I miss that ball? That bearing? I missed that one? Because you don't get them back. You can't get any more. You don't get them if it's a new game plus, and you've already beaten it once. Because that bell, I shouldn't be. I must have missed that bell my first time through. I had to have. There's no reason I would have gotten it because I already have it. Because the Husk Maiden that you give them to, they keep all that stuff in your new game plus. So the game doesn't need to give it to you again unless you didn't have it. So I missed one. Huh. Interesting. I didn't think I missed that one. It was probably the throwables. That's probably the throwable, huh? Now let's head back. Also, like, subscribe, blah blah, YouTube's usual bullshit, because if I don't do this, they will hurt me. I'm joking, of course. They take me into the basement and do things. So, YouTube's basement, probably full of skeletons. The camera has a kitty.
Ah, you again, is it? The recusants sent a lackey. Can you believe they invited me to join them? Now, after what they did? I can scarcely believe it myself. Did they think me a fool?
No.
I might be surprised to learn I took them up on the offer.
Oh, I did too.
To ask. The location of the recusant hideout. It's on Mount Gelmir, found off the old road that leads west from the town of Windmills. That's where they hide. The manor on the peak. Just you wait, wretched recusants. You'll rue the day you insulted my name by laying hands on Lanya. The tale of House Hoslo is told in blood, after all. It's on Mount Gelmir. That's where they just you wait. The tale of how...
Now I gotta go give the husks this here. What did I miss? Oh, I have it, but I don't. What? I wish the game would make up its mind. Why would they give me it if I already had it? See, you get to keep all this stuff here, and this is what lets you get more powerful. Is this? These smithing stones. They go up to 8, and the 9th one is an ancient one. Or the 10th one or 9th one. The last one's an ancient one that you need. But I try not to play too long. A couple hours a day, which is fine. I may have no life and be disabled and play video games all day, but even I have limitations to where how much time I game. See, yeah, my stats would go up if I do buff my strength, but the number is so small, it doesn't really affect me too much. Because I do 450 damage per swing of my fist, and my incantations do 136, buffed by my level and the scaling along with it. The stats are weird, aren't they? See, because this scales with intelligence and faith, both these stats affect my weapon type. Because believe it or not, funny thing is, these weapons, my flame art spike things, are scaling with faith, B scaling, which means that it takes all its power from faith alone, and that's also why it hits so hard. Let's say you have a stat intelligence, right? And you want to use a weapon that's not really good for intelligence, but it got like B or A scaling because you gave it an Ash of War into magic, and it will scale with that intelligence now, making the weapon as strong as your highest stat. Now if I want to take this spike here and make it scale with arcane, I could do that too by giving it poison or bleed or occult, and it will scale along with that, making that scaling its dominant scaling, which determines how hard that hits through that method instead. Since you can change its scaling, this scaling only matters depending on your Ash of War and how you want to fight. See, if I wanted to make it intelligence, I just give it magic, and then it scales with intelligence. I could scale it with just strength alone. Lightning scales it with dexterity. Sacred, also faith. If I want to scale it with strength, dex, and arcane, I choose poison or blood. Cold scales with it as a downright C for all scaling. But occult gives me B scaling with arcane, and would determine if I proc bleed more often. By a lot. It all depends on what scaling you want to pick with it. See, if I choose this flame art, I would scale with fire, still be faith. And it'd still be B scaling. If I chose this lightning one and chose sacred, it'd scale B with faith. And yeah, it says E scaling. Did you know that the scaling on this thing always picks the highest scaling to scale it with? Period. Let's say you have 2 E's and a C. The scaling for the E's don't even matter. It's the B scaling that goes with it. That the game focuses on the B and ignores the 2 E's. Now, if you say you have a C scaling, let's say you have a weapon with C scaling, and then another, and it also has a B on there. It would choose the B over the C to scale it with because it's the higher scale. But it would ignore your C. Both of them don't add up together as people think it does. It's whatever the highest scale, that's what it scales with. Let's say I have a certain item, right? You have a certain item in this game that has multiple scales to it. Funnily enough. Let's say you have, let me just go grab it. Let's say you have an item that that has a scaling, this one right here. Let's take this out and look at it. This scales with 2 A's. It only scales with one of them, by the way. Whichever one you have a dominant higher number with. But this one right here, it scales with 3 C's and a B. Frenzy Flame will ignore the scaling of 3 of them to pick the one with your highest stat. Let's say B. It will ignore the 3 C's and go straight to B for your scaling. But the 3 C's will be ignored unless one of your stats, like let's say you have the highest stat you have is strength. It would ignore the B faith scaling to go for the strength C, and ignore the intelligence and dex scaling that goes with it. It'll go whatever higher number you have. Now let's say you have dex and strength about the same level with each other, and they're higher than intelligence and faith. It would only still scale with one of the C's. It would choose one or the other, and only scale C with C, and ignore the 3 anyways, because it's your highest stat. Even if you have 2 stats that are the same, it would only pick one of them. Just like right here, I have intelligence and faith. Both are A's. Right? Both are A's in that regard. but my faith is higher than my intelligence, so my incantations are scaling with the faith aspect of it, not the intelligence. It ignores the intelligence. It goes straight for the faith. It picks one of your scales that has the highest stat in it. That's how that scaling actually works. It doesn't use all of them. It only picks one, and it picks the highest one. That's what scaling only goes up, but it always picks the highest one of them all. Hope that helps some people understand how their scaling actually works when they decide to pick a weapon and a weapon Ash of War art with it. And if it's like, let's say you're level 713, the max level in the game, and you're all plus 99 on all your stats, then the game just picks whatever the highest scale is. Like B or A or S, it will scale that and ignore the others. But you're already hitting as hard as possible anyways. So it's not a big deal as one would think, but that's how scaling actually works. So don't think of it too hard. It's just, if you see a weapon that it says it has A scaling and faith, but your strength, but you have a C on that scaling too, and your strength is much higher stat-wise and level than your other one, it will go for that instead, and that means your A scaling doesn't do shit. You're actually scaling with the one highest stat, which is outpacing the A scaling anyways. In other words, the game always rounds up. The game will always round up overall. So if you have a C scaling and an A scaling on a weapon, but the C scaling is higher number than the A scaling, then the game will ignore the A scaling and give you the C, because you're hitting harder anyways. It's rounding up for you. So you don't have to overthink it as much as you possibly think you have to. So don't overthink it. The scaling system will always round up for you anyways. My gauntlets are scaled towards faith. My incantations are scaled with faith. It's all scaled with faith. Because that's my highest scale and my highest stat. So the game automatically scales it with that and that alone. It'll ignore all the others. It ignores my intelligence. It ignores all that other stuff. Which doesn't mean that's not a bad thing. It just means its programming is doing exactly what it's programmed to do. Scale with the highest stats. That's all it is. That's how come I'm able to hit so hard in the game, too. If people ever wondered why my character was hitting so hard with the shield, it's because I made it scale with my highest stat. Because that's how the scaling system works. It rounds up. That's why I use the shield with fire and my sword with ice to proc a bleed frost effect, yeah, but my shield did more damage than you thought it would because of the way the scaling system actually works. That's why it seems like my characters are always strong, is because the scaling system and how it works out, and the elemental advantages from those stats. If you pick fire, you're trying to break people's poise. Fire breaks poise. That's what it does. That's its thing. Lightning is a shock thing that slows down enemies. Frost is a buildup that causes enemies to become more fragile and easier to hit for more damage. But it could be re-procced. It could be procced again if you decide to use fire. So you can proc it over and over because there's a 30 damage to a percentage to it. So there's always that aspect of it. That's a positive thing. Hell, a lot of you could test out my theory and just design your weapons around a particular thing. Oh yeah, family's far more important than anything else, so I get it. Yeah, thanks for subbing. I was pretty much just explaining how the scaling system actually works in this game. I was just explaining how scaling works in this game, and the fact that you think when you see Ben, when you see a weapon that says it scales with strength and dex, but strength is C and dex is B, do you know how that game actually scales that system? Because it always rounds up. This game is designed to always round up, no matter what. So it always rounds upward when you do something. The weapons scale with your highest stat. See, Golden Order Seal, Intelligence A, and Faith A, right? You would think, okay, that means it uses both, right? When they scale your strength. No, it chooses only one of them. It would only scale with your highest stat. My faith is 30, my intelligence is 21. So the game chooses faith to scale my incantations with. And ignores intelligence. It rounds up to the highest hitting number. Even if they're both A, the game will ignore all the other scaling for the highest one. But let's say faith was a C, but intelligence was an A. The game would still pick faith scaling C because the stat number is still higher than the actual A scaling would give me. Because A scaling on 20 intelligence versus C scaling on 30 faith. 30 faith will still be higher than the 20 intelligence when it hits. So the game chooses the C scaling over it, just because the stat is higher, and the game calculates the scaling to that hits the highest number. Therefore, give him that scaling. That's why my weapons are faith type. I hit this hard because my faith stat's so high, and I scale everything based off faith. The only reason I'm hitting this hard is because my faith is so high. Not because my strength is high. No, on the contrary. My scaling for strength and dex is E, but my faith is B. Therefore, the game scales it with only faith. Not to mention, I'm kind of using an exploit to do more damage when I use the Bloodhound step. So there is that. I think it may be a gaming gaming error or something like that when they programmed it. That's the only reason I do so much damage is because I'm using the game itself to do it. So depending on what Ash of War you pick, depending on how you want to fight in the game, don't take scaling too literal unless you're designing it around that particular stat. Since this is a faith build, I'm focusing my stat around faith, which is what's causing me to hit so hard. Even with my other scaling, it's gonna ignore it. Because my strength stat is 18. That's it. My strength is maxed. My strength is 18. That's it. That's all I have for strength is 18. Your stats are just requirements for equipping items. The weapons themselves is where you get your damage, and your scaling is how you multiply that damage. So depending on what your stats are, plus how high you've managed to improve the weapon, and will determine how hard you hit along with the scaling. But the scaling is more designed towards whatever the highest stat is. So you may want to build around that. Well, you think I hit like a truck right here. You see me hitting as hard as I am, right? Because all I have is its faith scaling. That's all this is. This is all faith. All my other stats are really low, but I'm hitting this goddamn hard. Not to mention, these incantations scale with your level, not your weapon. Weird, I know. Maybe I don't know why those incantations scale with your character, but it does. The incantations that don't track, that have no tracking, scale with your player character and what you do with him, not your weapon. Your weapons do give it a multiplier if you design it around that, which is not too bad. But the ones that you have to free throw and actually do some actual aiming with scale because the game ain't chasing them. That's fine, Ben. You missed it earlier. The cat was on the camera. She decided to get up finally and let my legs rest because holy crap. She made my legs all numb because I couldn't move them for so long. My circulation was cutting off. Yeah, but the scaling system's weird because it always rounds up. So take into your account what your highest stat is plus how you want to play, depending on it. If you want to play with more with incantations, try to scale your weapons around the faith aspect because it'll be probably your highest stat. Now, if you build a dexterity build, then yeah, you want to scale your weapon, your Ashes of War around the dexterity stat. That way you can scale with it. But yeah, the scaling isn't as big as you think it is because the scaling will pick whatever highest stat you have. Even if the thing is like C scaling. It'll choose the C over it. It only chooses one of the scaling in your weapon type. So if you, let's say you have a weapon and it's like, oh, my thing scales with 3 different stats. You do know that it only picks one of those. It would only pick one of your scaling stats and ignore the others. And it'll pick whichever one does the highest amount of damage anyways. So when you do the math calculations and all that bullshit, and you see that let's say you have a dagger, you want it to scale with dexterity, choose an Ash of War that focuses the higher scaling on dexterity over all the other scaling, and make sure dexterity is your highest stat to get max peak damage output. Or it's going to scale with whatever other highest stat that actually beats your dexterity, and we'll focus on that, and it'll feel like you're not hitting as hard because you're not scaling this with the scale that you think you're scaling with. You're scaling with something else that's actually beating the scaling you want to work with. It's an awkward system, but it always tries to benefit with whatever the highest number is. So that's not a bad thing. It'll always round up for the player, so it's always got that benefit. It'll always try to find a way to round up for you. So you wouldn't be, on the low end receiving of it, unless you really mess up your scaling somehow. Where's my emote? I should have it in here. That's why I think a lot of people, when they're trying to play the game and they say that they're looking at it like, why am I not hitting so hard? It's probably because your talismans and your scaling may be off. The game is trying to round up to make you hit as hard as possible, but your weapon may not be scaling properly with it. One of your stats may be higher output than the actual stat you want to use. Therefore, it's focusing on that stat overall, and scaling with a weaker scaling system than the big one that you wanted. So you may have to change your Ash of War to something more. Change your Ash of War's aspect to scale more towards what you want. I think a lot of people get that confused when they see the scaling system. I think when people see the scaling system, they just think, oh, this all counts together, when it's only one of them that works. Not all of them. Only one of them is chosen. And it's the one that gives you the highest. Even if that highest is by +1 more stat. That means if one of your scaling thing beats one of the other ones just by 1 damage, it will scale with that over the one that you want to hit even harder with. Which is so stupid. But the scaling system is a bit weird, but you get used to it once you realize, oh, I should probably change my Ash of War to something easier to use. Also, if you're going to leave messages, always use the emotes with it. Emote messages get more approval than ones that just say something. We like to see what we're supposed to do. I cannot add charges to my flasks are completely maxed out. You're allowed 14 flasks, and the special one makes 15. Yeah, the fire giant, I beat him pretty easily. I don't get why people had such a hard time with him. He's not that difficult. You just gotta make sure he doesn't roll on you or hit you with his pop. That's not that hard to avoid, actually. It's a pretty simple thing. I guess it just depends on your build. Some builds would struggle where others will not. Or use a goddamn summon. Nah, you can always get better at games. I mean, I'm 37 and I'm gonna be 38 this year? And do you think someone my age wouldn't be very good at video games? Yeah, video games is all I ever had. Growing up, all I had was video games. I don't know. When I talk to kids nowadays, they're like, "Wow, you're so old. Why are you still playing games?" I'm like, that's all I have. All I have is video games. That's what I spent my whole life doing. I mean, I am disabled, so what else was I gonna do? I physically can't work. But man, I am good at my video games, and I get bored enough to read the game code for some reason, and somehow know what I'm looking at. Granted, I couldn't program it myself, but if you give me the assets, I probably can make a game for people. I just need the assets to put them together and write a story. That's not that hard. But I would need help. I mean, it's not that easy to make a game as people think it is, but it's still not that hard either. Be nice if you could pop in ads, say hello in my streaming sometimes. Got people in there who'd like to chat to you probably. Yeah, I just know that if you don't know when to shut up, you make a good YouTuber or a Twitch streamer. And I've been told my whole life to shut up, and I never do. So I know I'm pretty good at. I would be good at the internet because I just never shut the fuck up. I can use that to my advantage. Plus, I spent most of my time growing up just learning games and how they work. I would probably be a fucking dev's wet dream for a game tester. Because I would straight up play the game and tell them when I find something wonky. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be great. It's just I don't want to force people to come see my stuff because I get complaints like, "Why is it 360p?" When the fact is, my stuff is only 360p because I don't have very good internet, as one would think. My internet's kind of bleh. Tell me what's wrong. Nothing's wrong. Why do people always think everything's wrong? They understand. Maybe. You would hope. It's not that simple. A lot of devs nowadays, some of them are very, how should I put this? They're very high and mighty about, oh, we know what we're doing and you can't be right because you don't know how to do it. It's like, oh, come on, devs, seriously? We're just trying to help. Like, I see a lot of video games that use shields, and everyone's like, oh, they're only for defense. And I'm like, that's not how shields work. I get very defensive about shields, because they're not just something, they're not that fairy tale kind of way that they made shields in video games. Like, everyone wears them in their left hand, which makes absolutely no goddamn sense, by the way. Believe it or not, you're supposed to wield a shield in your dominant hand. And I hate to break it to people, but not many people are dominantly left-handed. My brother is left-handed, but I'm ambidextrous. They wear them on the left or right depending on their dominant hand, of course. Yeah, that's why I don't understand why all video games perpetuate the whole must be in the left hand bullshit. You see it in TV shows, you see it in movies, you see it in video games. Everyone wields it in their left hand. I'm like, but you're right-handed. Why are you using your shield in your left hand? You're not getting the full benefit out of that shield. When a shield is actually not just for defense, but it's a weapon in itself. Some shields are designed to be sharp around the edge, so when you go to hit someone with your shield to bash them away, you can cut them as well. Which always baffled me. Blade shields were a thing, and so were the spikes on a shield. They were for combat. Hell, you see some pictures of shields with things where they're actually picking them up and trying to slam them down on their opponent to impale them with it. There's a lot of special shields that way. But I get really talkative about shields, where a lot of people are like, oh god, here he goes on shields again. I mean, it's fine and all if you want to tell a fairy tale, but if you're going to make shields in a combat game, I want the shield to actually be the corrective combat type. Hell, my first playthrough is I used the shield on my right arm, and I was still able to block with it and then deal damage mid-block. Hell, I beat Millennia with my shield. Of course, I had a katana in my left hand, because, let's say, weapons in general that were not shields were designed to make up for the lack of strength in your left hand if you would use them. Which makes more sense, because if a weapon could cut through an enemy, you wouldn't need much strength to wield it, because the weapon would do more of the work. It's like when I see someone use a bow, and yet the guy's coming right up to you, it's like, stab him with an arrow, goddammit! Why are you just standing there, not stabbing him with an arrow? That thing's technically a weapon. Some games nowadays do let you stab enemies with your arrow, which makes sense because it's an arrow. They poke you. You can poke them with it. It's good to see that trend finally getting removed, though. It's like, if you're gonna do it the right way the first time, right? Don't half-ass it. Go all in when it comes to that type. Though a lot of players also started using shields as a proper weapon as they are in this game too, and they've been double shielding and whatnot. But a lot of them still use them in the left hand because that's where the whole thought process apparently occurred to a lot of them. Is I see it in movies, therefore it must be true, and not even close. But yeah, I get really uppity about shield use. Like, I want proper shields in video games someday. You know, there was something called the spike bucklers that were used to, like, backhand someone in the face, and the barbed spikes would actually embed into their head, and then when you pull out, it would pull flesh with it. That is some goddamn brutal stuff. If you think about it. It's like, why is that so brutal? Damn. She's over here. But yeah, I think I'll be getting off now. I'm gonna give her the grape so she can eat it and go to her next location and all that. But yeah, I get really defensive about improper use of weapons and armaments. Because I was really into the history thing. I was really into mythology and history, and when I see improper use of tools like shields and bucklers and all that, I'm like, why do you think that's the only way that works when it's not?
There. Would you donate any sugary grapes in your possession to me? I'm on a pilgrimage in search of the distant light, and when I eat one of those grapes, can feel the light in the back
The
of
ending
my
I'm
eyes.
going for, I have to help this character.
Oh, many thanks to you.
You know, I just gave
Now I can
her
feel the
her
distant
father's
light once more.
eyes to eat, right?
Aside,
Her own dad's
wonder what
eyes
Superior
she just
grapes
ate.
Really are. Delectably tender and sweet.
Ooh.
Yet searing.
I gave her her own father's eyes and she ate them. They're human eyes.
No. That's not possible.
Yep, and you just ate your own father's eyes after I killed them and then plucked them out of his head.
Those noises I heard were...
Yep. I hope that's not too distressing. Ugh.
Sorry. I'm alright now.
She's not
Don't
alright.
mind me.
Okay. Yep, she's not alright. she's more than not alright. She's like, oh dear Lord.
Is that you over there? I've gleaned something very important indeed, thanks to you. The reason why it was eyes I had to eat. The distant light is far and frail. So faint it can't be seen by the naked eye. But with everyone's eyes together, it appears. Finally, it all makes sense. I'm certain now. I will be a finger maiden. I've gleaned something very important, I'm certain now.
Okay, that's all she does. She'll be gone next time I get on. Because she goes to the next location, which is in the capital. I'm close to being level 187, which I'll probably just give it to more into my mind. I have 1,900 HP, 275 FP, stamina's on 142, which is all good. My poise is only 35, and you want at least 50 to 45 poise, so it's harder for your defense to be broken. But since this is more of an agile movement-based character, I'm not going to be blocking anyways, so poise is not too big of a deal. But if I get parried, it's going to hurt. Like, almost get me killed hurt. My poise can be staggered really easily. See, my strength is only 18, but you're seeing me just wall up enemies because it's based off my faith, which is 30. My arcane is mostly for discovery in this, and my defenses. But if I wanted to, I always can make a weapon or whatnot go towards arcane if I feel like it later on. My character looks like he's been through some shit. He's all bandaged up, his armor's all busted and rusted and it looks like it's seen better days. But yeah. Your Wondrous Flask is your 15th flask, and you gotta get all these things so you can make your own mixed combination. It's good to collect all these though. There's so many of these summons, and they're so fun to play with. I recommend everyone at least get one, and then have fun with it at least. Giant rats cost nothing to use. If you want a free summon that costs you absolutely nothing but runes to upgrade to max, and they're easy to use, and you get 5 rats when you summon that are actually pretty tanky and strong, and they die easy, yes, but it costs nothing to summon them. Those rats are located up here. I believe those rats are right here. They're right here at this windmill. And you get them for free. They cost only runes to fully upgrade. So when you summon them, they pull focus from the enemy. They can't last very long, but if you can heal them, and they attack them. They are the once ashes that attack the most frequent. And there's 5 of them if you max it out. I believe there's 5. And they constantly will jump on enemy and focus on them, and they might spread out. And if there's a large group, each rat might take on a different target and fight. They don't last very long though, but they help. They're helpful for a 0-cost summon. They cost you nothing. They don't use any materials but runes to upgrade to max as well. So they're probably the best summons in the game for literally the reason of they're what you would call a get it and forget it kind of summon. You get them, you max them out, and use them because why not? It doesn't cost you nothing. But if you're just starting out playing this game, I recommend going to here, this location right here. If you can make it here, you can level up and become very strong without needing to fight. Because the enemies fight each other here, and when they die, you get the ruins. And there is a grace right here, so you can level up. You can level up here to level 70 without never needing to fight. It takes a couple hours, and if you want to, you can fight the enemies and get to the rest of the ruins of whatever wins. There'll be a few of them left, and you can like clean them up and kill them for what ruins are left, and then level up, and then rinse, repeat until you get to the level you desire. This is probably the earliest ruin farm you can get to in the whole game. But getting here is no easy picnic. It's Caelid, for God's sakes. Caelid, the nightmare location. But if you've gotten used to it, you should have no problem getting to point A to point B. That reminds me, I need to go over here next. So I'll go over here and I'll be done. I always lose about 9 minutes of my stream. That's why I go a little over, is because I lose time off my stream, and I rather have that extra time, be there. But I hope my explanation of how scaling actually works help you when you're building your character, so you can become more OP. I love it when I'm OP, and I love to hear when players discover new ways to be OP too. And the DLC's coming in 22 days, and if you pre-order it, it's going to cost more, but if you wait, it's going to be cheaper when it comes out. I don't know, be too much cheaper, because $39.99 to have it pre-ordered. I don't pre-order stuff, because as soon as this comes out, you'll have to download the update of the DLC. And then once you do that, there's going to be updates for it anyways to fix any broken mechanics or things that they didn't quite see until after some set of time of the player base getting their hands on it. And then they'll alter it accordingly. And then by then, it will be cheaper to get the DLC anyways. That's why pre-ordering's frowned upon by the most players. Like, why are you getting a pre-order when, if you wait for it to come out, it'll probably be cheaper? Not by much. $10, $5 cheaper, granted. But if you don't got the money like me, it's just better to wait for the DLC to come out instead of getting a pre-order. But that's up to you. I don't get pre-orders. I never do. Because it costs more than if I just wait for when it comes out. Or wait for a month after it comes out, and it will go on sale most likely. Because they don't want to separate the player base too much. They just want to get some quick injection of cash flow into the devs, so they can make and keep things running. Granted, that makes sense for the DLC, yes, to keep the server flowing and good. And that pre-order does help with the cash flow, but a lot of us who don't have it could just pay for it later for cheaper amount, and that money still goes to what it needs to go to, which is fine. It's no big deal. It's just we would rather wait, and that's not a bad thing either. We'll just catch up later. Well, you'll be like, oh look, we got all this stuff early, and look how strong we are. It's like, we just waited a month and we got into the game and did the same thing, guys. It's just you got a head start, so what? We could just get in and immediately, boom, there. We got the exact same thing you do now. We just waited a little longer. And since we looked into it and you did the work for us, yeah, waiting's, actually, personally, to me, waiting's better because it's cheaper and you get information that others gather for you. It's like, I could watch these people play the DLC and go, oh, you missed this, so when I play, I'm not going to miss it. And I'll know what I'm looking at and what I actually want to get, so I don't waste my time. That's just the way a lot of us game. And if you want to be ahead of the trend, then go ahead. But trends come and go, and I never followed trends. I set them. But that's just me. I was born in 1986, for God's sakes. The 90s were when trends were all the fucking rage, and though trends back then didn't get you hurt. Modern day trends are just goddamn horrible. But yeah, don't be a trend follower, be a trend setter, I guess, but jumping ahead by using a pre-order, you're gonna lose some points on being cool. There's some points lost on your cred is all. But it's still not bad. I'm just gonna wait. It comes out the 25th of this month, right? It's $39.99. It'll probably be $29.99 on the 25th, and I'll get it then. And if I have to wait a month after, like next month, when I'll be at my grandma's house, helping her with work she normally can't do because she's 81 and getting old, and I'm her grandkid. I should at least spend some time with my grandparents and help them out. I'll go help her, and she has good internet because she's a PC gamer. I'm not kidding. My grandma's a gamer. 81-year-old grandmother who plays video games. Think about that on a PC. She has goddamn good fucking internet. And I use her internet and I can use that internet to download the update or the DLC, and done. It's easier for me, and it'll be cheaper by then too. So, all in all, it works in my favor. I mean, I just got the Batman Arkham Knight game for $5 because I waited as long as I did, and it was on sale for $5. And it came with all the DLC, so